Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kim Crosby. Today I want to help people learn how to question themselves. Now we've been talking about how to create this observer that sort of observes on top of you, that is non-judgmental, and is just trying to help you observe your behaviors, your thoughts, and your emotions. Now, a lot of my other videos are about finding the core belief. We're going to come back to that. But starting to just ask ourselves questions is a really good way to start becoming aware of ourselves. And what I've realized is some people have a hard time with that. Sometimes I have clients, I'll ask them questions, oh my God, and they say, my God, you have so many questions. How do you know the next question and the next question? Well, it's really like becoming a detective. It's becoming the detective of yourself and really finding the clues in yourself to at some point get pieces of a puzzle where you can actually connect those pieces, like connecting the dots, to come to understand a bigger picture of yourself. So that's always my goal, is to get that greater picture. And usually in 2-3 sessions, I really get a bigger picture of what they think, how they feel, and what's going on in their emotions. So I'm giving you two different ways of how you can learn how to question yourself. We're going to start with, if I had to ask you to create questions about a tomato, and what would you ask to try and find out what a tomato is? Now, some people will be very good at it, and the more questions you can get, at some point, of course, it's going to stop, but it's just to get you ready of what would you say. So you could ask, what color is it? Red. You can ask what kinds of red and shades of red. You can ask the size, what different size frames. Is it bigger than a bread box? Is it smaller than this? When you can ask the consistency, the feeling of it. How does it feel on your fingertips? You can talk about the thickness of the skin. How thick is the skin before you cut it? How long until you enter the flesh? And then you can go on and on just about the flesh. And are there seeds in there? Is it soft? Is it hard flesh? Is it easy to cut? Does it squish? Do you see what I mean? All these questions, it's just about a tomato. It's kind of silly when you think of it, but if you can just practice asking lots of questions about a tomato, when it comes about you, then that's sometimes a different ballgame, especially if you're triggered and suddenly you're in shock and you don't know what to do and you're feeling all these emotions and it feels like chaos. Sometimes that's really difficult to ask yourself questions. It's only after that you can go ask yourself questions when you've calmed down. So here I have another example where someone makes a statement to you, and I say we talked about that in the last videos, that a lot of the time we take things subjectively. It's me who's feeling it. It's me that's interpreting what the outside world is saying. So let's say someone said to you and came up and said, you're not very smart. Now, and that depends on the tone, and it depends also if you take that person's opinion as an authority or smarter than you. But you're going to have a reaction. There's all kinds of reactions you can have. Somebody can just let it go and think, well, your opinion doesn't matter, and walk off. Somebody can take it so true and think, oh my God, something's wrong with me. Now, when you're here and this triggered you in this moment, what do you do? Now, if you're too shocked, don't try. Just feel. Just feel what you're feeling. At some point, you may just use words. Am I in shock? Is this numb? Am I tingling? Am I warm? Is my throat stuck? Is my chest? And this is what I wrote. The first thing is you feel. Just feel. And that's your first observation. This is how you create it. So it's you stopping yourself. So the observer is actually you. And just observing what I'm feeling. Where is it buzzing? Where is it warm? And then you make all these different types of conclusions based on your questioning. If you take the other one, feel your body, now you got the feeling and you're feeling all those sensations, the tension, that's usually easier to feel in the beginning. And then you try to feel the emotion within. What's the emotion are you getting? Is it sadness? And then sometimes this is where we tend to disassociate. We try to go away. Even some of us disassociate as soon as we don't feel good. We shut down, we go numb and disassociate again. So it's seeing, and if you do, that's okay. You're just looking at the observation of it. You just go, oh, look at this, I just stopped. You don't want to fix it yet. You're just observing all the time what you're doing. So when you're getting that sensational, just observe it. It's where is it for me? A lot of people can have it in their stomach. There's all kinds of places. I've seen people having it in their hands. Their hands will get tight or it gets warm or sweaty. There's so many different reactions you can have when you're triggered. And that's what you want to see. You want to observe your body and the inner emotion. you can have more than one emotion while this is going on. If you can just try and pinpoint one, that's a great job. And that's why I say use a mind map. And I have this on my website. You can look in the description, where you have this whole thing where you just fill in what you've discovered every time. Okay, I found this emotion, or I found this bodily sensation, so that you keep track. Because we have to do a lot of stuff in a day, and we are so distracted that when you make these great observations and these great insights, write them down, because it helps you create this observer. So once you got the feeling and you can pinpoint it, did I go sad? Did I feel, let's say you just felt sad, or were you angry? That could be too. Maybe you didn't say anything and you went angry, or you felt guilty that you weren't so clever. So any emotion that you feel, and you can just ask yourself, this made me feel like I'm what? This is what we're looking for. So as soon as you're in that trigger and you're observing your body, how it feels, that's one. Two, try and pinpoint the emotion, and if you dissociate, that's okay. Pinpoint it. Oh, you got the emotion. And this situation with this emotion, with your eyes closed, that's how I do it, because you really want to focus in. And a lot of us, when we focus in, we close our eyes. Makes me feel like I'm worthless, weak, powerless, helpless, hopeless. There's so many here. Sad, small, disgusted, guilty, I don't know. This is where you start finding this core belief. And a lot of people say, how do you find it? How do you find it? I can find it with you, but I'm only asking you questions based on your observations. So I'm only asking you, when you go back to an experience when you're in a session, let's say when you were young, and then your father comes in the room and looks at you and you were crying, and this happens a lot with boys, and say, stop crying, don't be so weak, or whatever comment, and this affected them. So we have to go back to that moment. This is inner child work, or you can do this in any types of meditation as well, in the theta state, and just go back to the feeling in your body. What did you feel as an emotion? Take the time to really feel the emotion properly. And then this makes me feel like I'm what? And if you see that, every trigger you see, every memory that triggers you, that you go back, if you observe all this, I used to meditate. Eventually, when I got good at it, I would just go try back one memory and bring it back and feel, and try to pinpoint, this made me feel how, and then I would write it down. And at some point, there's some words that repeat, and at some point it's just that, then you have the core belief. It's finding those questions. So if you want to practice how to question yourself, start simple. It sounds silly, but you really have to become the detective of your own emotions and thoughts and bodily sensations. A lot of the time when we do therapy, we do it up here, always in the head, but we forget the body, and we're storing stuff in here. And the body has its own type of language as well. And even if you're sorted up sometimes up here, sometimes it's still stuck, the trauma, in the body itself. So you have to release. When we say mind, body, and soul, it's really everything needs to be released. So you really have to observe different things about yourself. But we want to start small, because the journey is yours. It's your story. You take small steps, but the more you understand, these small steps become huge steps. So really take the time to feel your body. And sometimes that's not nice, especially if you're getting a panic attack, it's really hard to feel what emotion it is. You got fear, but what's behind the fear? So you just record it, and eventually you'll have more information. But really practice it. This is just persistence and consistency. Just don't give up, and you'll find it. If you ever have any questions, have any comments, please write them down. Subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care, guys.